I took his heart in my hand and I massaged it to see if we could restore some effort, some cardiac function, but it was too late. I said something like, "We've been working very hard. We tried, but in spite of all of our efforts, your husband did not live."
I mean, it affected me, not the fact that I held his heart in my hands or operated, but the fact that he died.
After 30 minutes of trying to save his life, doctors pronounced John Lennon dead.
After approximately 20 minutes of continual resuscitation efforts, John Lennon remains unresponsive and is pronounced dead at 11:20 p.m. on December 8th.
Horan and the ER team worked on Lennon for about 45 minutes, but the 4 gunshot wounds Lennon received caused a massive loss of blood, and he was pronounced dead.
And at about 11:15 that evening, John Lennon was pronounced dead.
As John Lennon walks through the dark archway,
Mr. Lennon.
the doorman hears 5 shots. He then sees Lennon stumble up the stairs and fall face down into the doorman's office.
Lennon was brought to Roosevelt Hospital, which is Mount Sinai Hospital today. Hospital staff at the time were notified that they had a gunshot victim that needed immediate attention. According to doctors, John Lennon was shot 4 times in the chest, with 3 of the bullets exiting his back.
When they went inside the gate, and then all of a sudden they heard 5, 6 shots, and that was it.
The most famous, perhaps, of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back.
Beautiful shot by Kavanaugh.
Just before 11 that night, outside the Dakota, his apartment building in New York, Lennon was shot 4 times by an obsessed fan named Mark David Chapman.
John Lennon was shot 3 times at around 11 p.m. Eastern Time. He was rushed to New York's Roosevelt Hospital, but died a few minutes later. Police have a suspect in custody whom they describe only as a local screwball.
He kicked the gun away, and another employee secured it at the Dakota until it was given over to the police.
There's no shells ejected. They remain in the gun. We had witnesses.
4 cops pulled John Lennon out and put him into the back of a police car, and his mouth, he was bleeding from his mouth, and it was a terrible sight.
He was actually carried into the emergency department by 2 police officers. We had no idea who he was. We knew.
Just before 11 p.m., Spiro heads uptown with the suspect. At the same time, a second squad car carrying Lennon arrives at Roosevelt Hospital, having taken just over 5 minutes to travel 15 city blocks.
Mr. Chapman came up behind him and called to him, "Mr. Lennon," as he arrived at that doorway. And then in a combat stance, he emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him and shot John Lennon.
Oh, idea was. It was originally Paul. There's another one as he called me up and said, we're going to be in this movie. Because he's talking about making a movie. And so we just, let's make a movie, you know. He says, write a bit. So I just wrote dreams that I had. I'm trying to recreate that. one bit, the only bit I contributed is the dream sequence where they're eating, and there's a very fat lady and this English or Scottish really not like the fat guy, and he's saying.
Did the reaction surprise you?
Yeah, but they were gunning for us before that. Because they expected the real people to be moving, they weren't to do a trick. I'm saying, that's always saying farewell from right to the planet. It just came to my consciousness. Am I saying goodbye to everything? Is this the rock and roll? Is this the with the picture from Hamburg? Is this it? Just flashed in my mind for a split second, but I didn't consciously think it.
Was that on the record?
Yeah. That was the last track of music. As I say, so we say farewell. I was out living like I do on many records. By the time I get to the end of the track, I thought there's all kinds of
Right when you said it, you were aware of what you were saying. The reason for where you were saying.
I wasn't. I was hearing that somebody else was saying it, and I was thinking, is he saying? Is that what he's saying?
Somebody's got it.
So it was like a dream that you think, oh no, and then it's gone. You see, it doesn't occur to me again until something happens. And you think, is this deja vu? Oh. So when I did it, then I started remembering that, thinking, Jesus, it's like the Mind Games cover. Was that what it was? Is that what it was saying? Was it premonition of my own self?
Alan Weiss was in a motorcycle accident in Central Park and taken to nearby Roosevelt Hospital.
One of the EMTs said to me, "You're really lucky. If it was the weekend with all the shootings and stuff that go on, you could be in the ER for hours before anybody sees you, but it's a quiet night tonight."
At the hospital that night, Alan Weiss described what happened next.
There was a scream, a woman's voice. I was told, I did not see who was screaming, I was told it was Yoko Ono. So I hear sobbing behind me, and I'm able to look behind me, and I can see this woman is being brought in by a police officer. I asked the police officer, "Who is that?" And he said it was Yoko Ono. Oh no, no, oh no, oh no.
She said, "No, it's not possible. You're lying. He can't be dead. He was just alive. I saw him."
This guy murdered him. He shot him in the back, which is what people don't realize. He shot him in the back. He's a coward.
It was just before 11 p.m. on Monday night, December 8, 1980, when John Lennon was shot dead outside his New York apartment. A lone gunman, Mark David Chapman, fired 4 bullets into Lennon, 3 in his chest and 1 in his arm.
Police officer ran up to the doctor and said, "We have a gunshot hit in the chest." Doctor said, "When's it coming in?" "It's in the door right now." At that moment, the door slammed open. Stretcher came wheeling in. Police officers, 6 to 8 police officers trotting alongside. They pushed him right into the room that was right next to me. A number of doctors, nurses ran inside, closed the curtain. Just this entire chest, just red. And at the time,
It looked like to me at that time, it looked like the doctor's hands were actually inside his chest.
I took his heart in my hand and I massaged it. To see if we could restore some effort, some cardiac function, but it was too late.
At 22 minutes after 11, the Muzak played the song All My Lovin'. The song ends, and about a minute or two later, maybe 25 after 11.
I don't walk through Strawberry Fields that frequently, but I walk through Strawberry Fields and I have the same sense. I have a connection.